So I want to start to program the Minesweeper Minefield shortly. And one of the first tasks in the program that I need to think about is how I'm going to represent the minefield in the computer program. What kind of information am I going to use to store where the mines are located and how many mines are around each spot within the field? Now, because the mines are laid out on a 15 by 15 grid, like the one that I've just kind of sketched up in Google Docs here, I know I want to use a two-dimensional array for this. One of my first ideas was I would use a two-dimensional array of Boolean values, and then each place where there was a mine, I would put a true. So maybe if there was a mine there, and a mine there, and a mine there, and everywhere else in the array, I would put false. So something like that. That could work, but what I realized was that in order to give the count of how many mines are around a particular space, I would need to constantly be calculating that. And it might be simpler if I used an array of integers where I could calculate that value one time and just store that in the array as well. The problem with an array of integers that I have to overcome, though, is how am I going to represent a mine in an array of integers? Now, I could use any number that I like to mean this particular spot is a mine, but I can't use a number like 0.5 because it has to be an int. And I need to be careful about what numbers could have some other meaning in the program. So for example, if there was going to be a mine in this spot, then the spaces around that should store the number 1 because there's one mine located beside this place, and there's one mine near there, and one mine near there, and one there, and one there, and one there, one there, and one there. Now, if I had a couple of mines close to each other, for example, if I had something like this, and the spaces around these mines are supposed to have a number that says how many mines are near that. So this space, well, there's only the one mine near this space. But this one, there's two mines near that. There's one mine here, near here, one near here, one near here. Two mines near this space because there's that one and there's that one. And there's three mines adjacent to this space. All three of them are touching that space. Only two near here, one near here, one, and one. So those are the numbers that would come up. Now, the smallest number that is actually used is 0, right? Because this space right now, there are 0 mines near there. And the largest number that could be used in theory, if I had a mine there and 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 there, well, then this space has 8 mines around it. Right? There's never the possibility of 9. No space would show a 9. If this was actually a mine, it would be a very difficult game, first of all. And the only spots with numbers would be the ones around those spaces, right? So if I clicked here, I wouldn't get a number. I'd explode because I hit a mine. It could be very challenging to actually figure out that the 9th mine is in there. I'm not going to worry so much about that because it's a pretty low random chance that that would happen. But what it does tell me is that the numbers that are going to be used in the array could be anything between 0 up to 8. And those would have meaning in the array, how many mines are located beside a space. Now, if I want to represent a mine itself, I should use a number outside of that range. So I could do something like representing a mine with the number 99. There's no way that a number could possibly be 99 spaces touching here. So that would look very, very different from all the other data in the array. And that would be one good way to represent a mine. The solution that I came up with was I'm going to just use a negative number. I'll just use -1 to represent a mine. It doesn't read as easily on the screen right now as, say, a 99 does. But to the computer, it doesn't really matter, right? The computer can use any number I want, just as long as it's not going to be having some other meaning within my array. So that's the solution that I came up with for representing the whole mine field, is that I'm going to have negative ones everywhere where there's a mine. And then the rest of the field itself is going to be the calculated values for how many mines are adjacent to space that is not a mine. So here, there's 3 mines adjacent to that. Here there's 2, here there's 1, here there's 2, here there's 3, and so on. I'm going to write part of the program to fill up this entire array with those values, either a -1 in a space or the number of -1s that are adjacent to the space. So the number of mines adjacent to the space. Okay, now let's think about creating that new minefield. What do I have to do within the program when I want to start a fresh game? And especially, what do I have to do when I want to start a new game after the player has played an original game? So if I'm thinking about that way, there might be data in the array already. So there might be all kinds of information here, mine locations that were from the previous game, hint values that were from the previous game, and I want to get rid of all that information. So in order to build a new minefield, I found that what I needed to do was first go through and zero out the entire array. So when I get to the programming, I'm going to take a couple of steps here. One, zero out the entire array. And I did that simply by going first row, all zeros, second row, all zeros, and just keep repeating through all the rows. I'm not going to type it all up, but you get the idea. Just zero everything out. That means that all this old data becomes zeros. Gets rid of all the old mines and all the old hints for me. So now I know I'm starting with a fresh, open minefield. Then the second step is going to be place all of the new mines wherever they go within the field. So I just want to erase all this data. Just imagine this is all filled up with zeros now. Now I need to place, in the program I'm doing 30 mines somewhere within the field, randomly within the field. Well, how can I do that? I need to pick a random location and put a mine there. So you can imagine just going, okay, well, here's a random location, stick a mine there, and here's a random location, stick a mine there. What I need to keep in mind when I go to write the code for this is that when I look at this field and pick a random location, my human brain is not actually very random. It's only sort of random. And I'm rather carefully making sure that I pick a blank space to put a mine in. But when the computer chooses random numbers, it has no preconception of what might be there, if the space would be blank or not. So what I need to do in the computer program is to choose a random space. There it is. And check to make sure that there's not already a mine here. If there's not, put one there and then count that I have done that. Right? And then pick another random space. Now there's an entire possibility that I could randomly choose this space again. And if I counted myself as putting a mine there, I might count myself putting 2 mines in the same location. I want to make sure that I don't do that. So that's one little hang up that I need to worry a little bit about when I start coding. Hey, how do we put in all the values for this minefield? Now, once I have all 30 of the mines put somewhere into the field, I'm not going to do 30 right now, but I'm just going to fill up a few random spots. Once I have all the mines placed in the field, the last thing I need to do is to go through and revisit, because remember, these are all zeros, right? I filled everything in with 0. So I need to go through the array and revisit. Okay, this should not actually be 0. I need to count up how many mines are adjacent to this location. So there's 1. and this should be a 1, and this should be a 1, and this should be a 1. Oh, whoops, I just erased the 9. That should be a 1, and that should be a 1, and that should be a 1, and that should be a 1. Now this just should stay a 0 because there's no mines around it. This should be a 1, this should be a 2, and so on. So first thing I'm going to do when I go to write the code is I'm going to zero out the entire array. So I'm starting with a fresh one. Second step that I'm going to take is I'm going to place 30 mines hidden somewhere in the array, random locations. And the third step that I'm going to take to make a new minefield is that I have to go through the array one more time, and instead of having 0 saved at every single spot, I need to have the hint values pre-calculated and saved in the array as well.